Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is November 14th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. There's the Pacific Northwest, where I'm circling kind of to the upper right. And you see this ridge off our coastline here in this deep trough, still impacting California as we speak. We're also continuing to bring some rainfall here across portions of western Washington, and I'll show you what's going on here with that more in a moment. And then we'll take a look at what is coming as we go on into next week and through the extended forecast as always as we go through the video here this morning. So take a look at this. We got kind of a stationary frontal system pushed right across western Washington, and you can see it's producing rainfall across Long Beach, portions of southwest Washington, across the Puget Sound, and back up into the Cascades. You'll notice the Doppler radar beams kind of cut off there. It's because once the beams hit the higher terrain, you can't see really what's going on. But trust me, there's a lot of precipitation ongoing across some of the Cascades here this morning. So we take a look here at 100-meter wind speeds. We are right about here, about 17Z. That's about 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I believe it is. And then we continue on into the day today. You see these southerly winds right there? That's that stationary frontal system just kind of hanging across western Washington. It hangs on with us through the day today and probably get a break here as we go through tonight a little bit. But then we got more active weather coming here. You see the next system rolling towards Vancouver Island as we go through Sunday afternoon and evening. A frontal system with another batch of energy moving down towards California. Now, taking a look at that precipitation, total precipitation in inches. So here we are scrolling through the day today. Look at it piling up across the central and north Cascades, Seattle. By the time we get towards tomorrow morning, it's looking up over 7/10 of an inch of rain. Some pretty decent amounts across some of southwest Washington, some of the southwest facing slopes of the Olympic Mountains as well. Now we scroll on in towards this upcoming week. Additional rounds of precipitation coming in here also. You can see some of the rain shadowing off to the east of the mountains, but we do have additional frontal systems here as we go through next week. Now, composite reflectivity on the North American model kind of lines up with what we're seeing right now. And again, you can kind of see how that's going to be with us as we go through the afternoon hours and then on through tonight. Some rainfall still occurring across some of western Washington. The heavier precipitation wraps up right about maybe 10 o'clock tonight for Seattle or so, but still goes on across the Olympic Mountains and the Cascades until probably tomorrow late morning or so. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station to record all this crazy weather we get here in the Pacific Northwest, click on that link down below to save 10% off. Highly recommend this weather station. I test 2 of these at my house. You can't beat it for the price. Now, looking at 300 millibars, or about 30,000 feet up in the atmosphere, you can see what's going on. This is that storm system that's impacting California as we speak. And you can also see this jet stream right here. It's almost fully connected now with the system moving by to our north. Well, that jet stream is pinching off that low pressure system, and you can see it really gets cut off. This is what they call a closed low or a cutoff low. It's going to be spinning over California. But you can also see as we go through this weekend, the next trough here approaching the west coast of North America. Not exceptionally strong, but it will bring additional rounds of precipitation. Then we scroll into the future a little bit more, and you can see additional systems here as we go through next week. So one more look at that. And again, imagine that jet stream coming across here and kind of drives down out over the coastal waters here, the west coast of North America. And then again, you can see that closed low, that cutoff low get pinched off there across California. And then you can see additional frontal systems pushing towards the Pacific Northwest. So if we take a look at 6-hour precipitation, we're going to kind of scroll through here and see what's coming. You can see that precipitation continuing today with our initial system. Next frontal system arrives here as we go on in through Sunday night into Monday. Again, a big portion of that energy driving down into California. It'll be impacting some portions of southwest Oregon as well. And we will get some precipitation here across the Pacific Northwest from that system, but it is weakening as it approaches the coastline. And then we deal with, kind of another weak system there as we go through Tuesday on in through Wednesday morning. And then a deeper low approaches the Oregon coast. Gonna have to watch this one to see exactly what it does. That's right at the end of the European model run last night. And models are not in a good agreement with this system. It's still quite a ways out, 144 hours there. Now, accumulated positive snow depth change in inches. So we are getting some snowfall, but it's mainly across the higher peaks. Not much for Stevens or Snoqualmie Pass here as we go through the day on Saturday. We go through Monday, Tuesday, a little bit there as we go through. Looks like Monday night into Tuesday, maybe for Stevens Pass here. But again, not a lot of snowfall occurring with these systems as we go through the 6-day time period. And depends on that next track to see if we're going to get any snowfall across the higher terrain with that next system as well. So again, not a lot of snow, just some for the higher terrain of the North Cascades, especially though. Now, taking a look at 500 millibar heights, let's look at the extended forecast on the European Artificial Intelligence Ensemble mean. So here we go. You can see the West Coast continuing to get some troughing here, kind of a transient ridge. Another system potentially rolls through next week. And then you see the Gulf of Alaska trough still fairly active here. And then it does bring some lowered heights as we go towards Thanksgiving coming up there. But again, that signal is way too weak to get excited about anything. You might see some social media posts talking about some colder air making its way down. It's really not in the cards just yet, not anything you want to get too caught up in. However, if you do look at the extended forecast, you can see this kind of start to come out here as we go on in towards, the first half of December. It starts to get pretty cold across some of Northwest Canada, portions of Alaska, and the west coast of North America. It looks pretty chilly here as we go through the month of December. But again, lots of detail will need to be worked out with this. Don't get excited about it too much just yet. I'm just going to show it here because this is starting to show up. People are starting to talk about sudden stratospheric warming, then maybe some cold air initially for western portions of the United States and eventually coming down into eastern portions of the USA as well. So if we look at the very extended entertainment only purposes here, extended snowfall for SeaTac Airport, just using it as a general guideline. But you can see the ensemble mean does show maybe some snowfall chances as we go through December. But again, you got to check back on this. This is purely just a fantasy forecast. Now, look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook below normal for the West Coast and a lot of the lower 48 here above normal as we go through November 19th through the 23rd. Check out the Patreon page if you like. You can come here and chat and share pictures and whatnot. And as I get time, I come in here and click like and I comment back and forth. And you can also direct message me here as well if you like on the Patreon page. That link is down below also. So anyway, we'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will catch you guys in the next forecast.